guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks at Badcube, we're going to be taking an early look at their OTS-11 SPEEDBUMP, which in the world of Transformers is none other than Trailbreaker. And what we're taking a look at today is Badcube's version of Trailbreaker in the Masterpiece scale and style. Now, starting out first with his accessories, depending on which episode of Transformers you watched, he always had a shoulder cannon, but he also either had two hands or a hand and a cannon for a hand. So what they basically did is give you two of these. One that you can plug into his shoulder to kind of recreate that missile shoulder cannon thing that he had. Another one that you can attach to his wrist and actually give him that hand cannon kind of look, which is cool. Both of these are the exact same mold, but you can see sculpt-wise very nice, very simple, but definitely effective looking. And then you can see a really nice silver paint on there. And obviously I'll show how to attach those here when we take a look at SPEEDBUMP in his robot mode. And then he comes with another one of his hand attachments. I honestly forgot which one this actually is. I do remember seeing it, but I don't remember exactly what it did. I think it was just like a laser thing. But again, you can see that kind of attaching sort of setup that the little cannons have. And then he also does come with an alternate face. The one that I have on him is just a regular kind of neutral sort of look. This one here has a little bit more of an open mouth, kind of screaming, angry kind of look. But you can see you got a nice paint there for the eyes, and then the rest is this kind of dark gunmetal gray sort of color. And again, I'll show how to attach this here in robot mode. Now, there is actually one other accessory that he's supposed to come with, but I did not get, and that is a little back car cannon for Sunsurge, which is their version of the Masterpiece style Sunstreaker. It replicates that scene where he was driving along and then the little spoiler thing split apart and the cannon came out, and he basically used that to shoot, I think it was Laserbeak. But taking a look here at SPEEDBUMP, this guy really did turn out very, very nice. As you can see, paint-wise, very simple. It's just a black truck, but it does a very nice job of replicating that 80s four-wheel drive truck that the Trailbreaker really is. It really did turn out very nice. You can see very subtle hints of paint throughout the entire figure, kind of along the side with a little pinstriping. You got the four-wheel drive logo there, the yellow, orange, and red kind of thrown throughout the entire figure. Some nice chrome bits actually put on there. You can see that the hubcaps are nicely chromed. The front grille section is chromed as well. The tires are actually rubber, which is really very nice. And he also does feature a considerable amount of die cast. There is some good heft to this figure. All the die cast is primarily here in the hood section and then also in the leg section in robot mode. But the overall look for the figure is really very nice here in his actual vehicle mode. The little side view mirrors here are a softer rubber. As you can see, those do manipulate very easily. That's actually very handy because it lets them kind of get out of the way as you're transforming things. But again, color-wise, really very nice. You got some slightly colored clear bits here in the bumper section. You got some nice paint here for the turn signal. Like I was saying, you got the four-wheel drive and then the yellow, orange, and red bits right there along the side. I like how they got a blue clear lucent window kind of going all the way around. Looks really nice. And then on the back section here, you can see taillights painted very nicely as well. For comparison, next to a couple other Badcube figures, here he is next to their Brawny as well as Sunsurge. And as you can see, scale-wise, I think they did a really nice job kind of across the board with all their figures here. And I definitely think that a SPEEDBUMP here fits in terms of a Masterpiece scale. And I think just overall vehicle mode-wise, he's very clean and just does an overall wonderful job of recreating that 80 Toyota truck look. And then for a couple other comparisons, here he is next to the Masterpiece Ironhide as well as Masterpiece Optimus. And again, scale-wise, I think they did a really nice job in terms of staying consistent with what has already been established for the sizes of these figures. Now for transformation, first you want to come around to these little bits and you just want to slide these out. Do that on both sides just like so. And then come around here to the back section. And you wiggle this piece out and lift this up. Again, do that on both sides. just like that. Kind of fully extend that all the way on both sides of them, and then you can come around here, loosen this back section up, and then you can kind of detach this and sort of swivel that down just like so. Come around to the back, and then you take these sections and you detach these little pieces here, and you lift that up just like that, and then you take these tires and you detach these, and these will swivel out on both sides just like so. Come around to the back, and then you take the legs, split those in half just like that. Now this part can be a little bit tricky. First, what you want to do is take this entire section here, and this kind of shifts up a little bit like so. Then you take this entire leg and then you rotate this all the way out. It kind of just hinges here, so you just get that out of the way, and then that just rotates around just like that. And you take this section here and this piece, get this kind of out of the way, and then this piece right here will then swivel down. Go ahead, take this little piece right here, rotate this around to that side, take this foot, rotate this around, and then you kind of angle this back some, getting that kind of out of the way, and then you pull this little middle section out like that, and then you bring that back up just like so. Come around here to the opposite side, you take this foot, you swivel this, get that out of the way, you swivel this down and around, and this goes on the inside. Take the foot, fold that down like that. This section here then comes down, and you come around to this opposite side here, and this little piece right here actually tabs into the section right there. So you bring that in and then shift that up, and then that will tab right into place just like that. Then take this little piece here, fold this out, and then fold out the other little section just like so. And there you have his leg. Like I said, it's a little bit tricky, but not overly too bad. So now again, doing it on the opposite side, again, you shift this little piece up, kind of get this stuff out of the way, shift this up, and then this whole section here, you want to, now let's see, pull this out, and then swivel this around like that. Again, kind of just keep that out of the way. Take this section, rotate that down like that, bring this around just like so. Come around here, you can straighten out the foot, you can rotate that, fold that forward. Then this section here, you rotate this around and tuck the tire away, and then bring this down, and then this down. And then again, you bring this piece down, tabbing this in right there, kind of push that down. Again, if you didn't do that on the other side, you can do that. And then actually, I did forget one spot. You want to make sure you bring this little lower gray section out here. That's tough to get to, but just kind of hinge it back and then swivel that out. Then just bring all that back in, tucking that all back in one place, locking that in just like so. Fold the little foot piece there, fold that along the back, and there you basically have his legs done. Now the last little piece, I guess, would be kind of straightening everything out here for the actual leg area, just fiddling with it. And then you want to take this section and you shift this out just like so, and then come around here, and this part can get a little bit tricky, but you want to rotate this little piece around. Let's see where, yeah, there you go. Rotate that around, and that actually covers this side panel, which is actually pretty cool how they actually did that. So again, rotate this around, just swivels, but get like that. And there, now you have the legs nicely proportioned and all transformed. And coming up to the top section here, this is a little bit tricky to get your finger in, so I'm going to use a little wedging kind of tool. Just pull this out just like so, and then slide this whole piece up just like that. Then come around here, you want to take these and actually kind of push in here and kind of pull out at the same time. So you're pushing in here and then pulling these pieces out to kind of loosen things up, and then you can pull these arms out. They're up in there fairly tight, but you can wedge them out just like so, and then do that on this side. Once you get one out, it's easier to get the other. And then just hinge this entire piece out like so. Do that on this side as well, kind of just folding that whole bit out. Then you can take these tires, you can rotate these around into the under section. And this is actually fairly interesting. You want to take this little piece right here and get this kind of out of the way. You can see that on the top section here, there's a little hole section that is going to groove where this is. So you have to shift this top piece a little bit to get that little gray piece to pop out there. So again, you got it kind of lifted like this where you can see right through it. You want to shift that down a little bit right here. Just wiggle that. There we go. Kind of loosen that up, and then you bring that around. Where's that little piece at? There you go. Shift that down, shift that into place, and that fills that piece in right there. Then come around to the bottom section, take this, you're going to detach this, and then this swivels around and fills in this area. You got some little tabs along the side that lock everything into place very nicely. So again, do that on this side as well. Rotate that around. It hinges here and here to allow you to fold it along that actual curve, which is really very nice. Then at the top section here, you just kind of wedge your fingernail in here, pulling that out, and then you fold the whole hand out. The actual tips of the fingers don't actually go all the way inside here. Looking at this other side, you can see that these are the tips of the fingers. So you just wedge this, get that open like so, and you can see that the tips of the finger extend past the actual forearm section. So just rotate that out, kind of pulling on the fingers if you need to. Rotate that down just like that. Then you got these little pieces right here that you have to rotate these around. I think mine was already like that, so just rotate it just like so. Then you take this top section, rotate this around, and hinge that up and inside here, and you got two little pegs right here that are going to tab into the underside right there. So just hinge that around, locks that into place very nicely. Come around here to the top, take this, lift this up just like so. This whole lower section here, this actually shifts forward just like that. Then you come around to the back and you got these little pieces right here that are going to get these arms out of the way. These are going to swivel around, and you got little tabs on the kind of side here that are like hooks that are going to hook into the side there. So that locks the actual torso in together. So push those in just like that. Then this section here, this can be a little bit tricky to do as well. So first what you want to do is kind of hinge these down. You're going to separate this, get these arms kind of moved forward to kind of get them out of the way. So you're going to hinge this down right here, and then they separate here as well, and then you can rotate these around, but it's kind of tricky to know the proper way to do it. So you kind of bring that in. That's on a little double hinge joint right there. So swivel this down, and I mean, this I don't particularly like. It hides very well, but you just have to kind of futz with it to find the right kind of way of doing it. So you're going to detach that. When you're done, you'll kind of have it like this, where the parts are kind of pushing up through the back section here. This is hinged out, so you have some clearance, and then you want to hinge this up, and then like I said, you take this, kind of tuck this inside the wheel well. Do that on both sides here, kind of just wedging that in there like so, and then this actually brings down and pushes into place and locks there. Then you take these little pieces, you're going to extend these out like so, and then keeping this kind of just fiddled out of the way, you bring this up, and then you push this into the back section here, and there are two little tabs here that will lock this whole piece into place. So you just bring this up and then push that in there, and that locks that there. And then bring this up, rotate these down, position this, then you take these shoulder pieces. These are going to lock into the torso bit right there, getting that to lock into place right there. Kind of position everything, rotate the hands to where you're going to want them, kind of make a fist with them. Do that on this side as well. Pivot that around, get his ankle spread out there, and there you have the speed bump in his robot mode. Now For his accessories here in robot mode, as I talked about, he was depicted as having 2 fists. But in the majority of them, he had 1 fist and 1 cannon for a hand. So that's where these pieces kind of come in. So what you do is you come around here to the back, you open this back up, and then you actually tuck the hand back inside just like that. Then you have a big giant round section here that this actually hooks onto. Now you also have that little peg that you can see kind of fits in that hole. So first you have to put that peg in that hole and then push it in, and then you have get that wedged in there all the way, and now you have his cannon hand, which that looks really very cool. I love the way that looks. And then you take this same cannon and then you come around here and you got this little piece right here, and you got little holes right in there. You just peg that in and that kind of completes that look for him. And now you have him looking like Trailbreaker. Coming in to take a closer look at him, again, face sculpt wise, I think they did a really very nice job. I really like the blue eyes on there. This is the more kind of neutral sort of look. To swap out the head, you literally just lift the head all the way back. There we go, it just pegs in there very securely. And then you would take the other one, like I said, this has that angry mouth, and then you just bring that in and you tab that in just like so. Really very easy to swap out the faces. And I definitely appreciate that. You do have his little force field projector here in the back. One thing that I would say is I wish that this was done a little bit differently. As it is, that just kind of looks like it's sitting there. It's not as incorporated as much as I would like, but it's just something that I wish was a little bit more refined. You got some real nice molded detail in the arms and everything. You got that clear window for his chest. Obviously, this is all die cast right here and looks really nice on the rest of the body. Got some nice silver paint down here for his forearms, and then that silver paint also on the gun kind of matches that forearm, which looks really good. Got that same silver coming down here on his thighs. Got the nice little red knee bits. You got some silver and everything down for the legs. This is a little bit kind of kibbly, I would say, in terms of the way that his feet are. Again, that's something that I wish was a little bit more kind of streamlined. As it is, they're just kind of hanging out there with like these little side bits and everything, and those don't really tab in anything. But it's minor, and it doesn't really take away from my overall enjoyment of the figure. You come around to the backpack, and again, you can see what's all going on there. Like I said, everything compacts very, very nicely into that whole back section, which I'm really very, very impressed with. For his articulation, the head is on this nice ball joint, so you can get him looking left and right very nicely, up and down, and then it also can pivot side to side. The shoulders here are on a hinge, so you can move that up, and then it's also on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion, forward, back, in and out, all that kind of stuff. He does rotate at the upper part of the bicep, bends here at the elbow at a little bit more than 90 degrees, and that's true on both of the elbows, which is nice. He does rotate at the waist, come down here to the hips. He does have swivels for the hips, and they also have a hinge for outward motion, which is nice. He does rotate at the very top section of the thigh, and then he's got 2 joints here at the knee, so you get a nice range of motion, and you can actually collapse the knees in. If he's a little bit too tall for you, and we'll take a look at some size comparisons here, you can actually collapse the knees in to make him a little bit shorter. And while for Trailbreaker, I don't mind him being all that tall, I think for their Lurie, I think that's how you say it, their version of a hoist, I think he works a lot better as a smaller figure. So that knee collapsing is really going to be very handy, I would think. He does have some ankle tilt going in and out. It's just kind of like this little foot section, so the rest of the whole leg down here kind of stays in one place. Just the little foot kind of pivots outward, and then you can see it moves forward and back as well. And then, but when you do it, it kind of makes the whole thing move forward. So just be careful when you're kind of manipulating that. So lots of articulation in the guy, allowing you to create some really cool looking poses for him and get a lot of really very cool looks. For some comparisons, again, here you have him next to Badcube's version of Sunstreaker. This is their Sun Search figure, and here's their representation of Brawn, otherwise known as Brawny. And as you can see, they have a real good scale going on here that nicely resembles the official Masterpiece figures. And again, to illustrate that, here he is next to the Masterpiece Ironhide as well as the Masterpiece Optimus Prime. As you can see, SpeedBump here really does look good with all your Masterpiece figures. As you can see, what Badcube did here with SpeedBump in terms of recreating the look of Trailbreaker really came out looking very, very nice. One thing that always even put me off when I was a kid was that the G1 toy never looked like the cartoon, and that always bothered me, even back when I was a kid. This looks terrific. What they did in terms of getting the backpack to kind of hide and just basically compress all of that into one small area really is pretty impressive. It does take some finesse to be able to do it. But as you can see, the transformation actually for Badcube is pretty good. I mean, a lot of people have talked about how complex their previous figures are. And yeah, this is complex, but it's not overly complex, I don't think. It works, it flows fairly decently. Once you transform it once or twice, you get a feel for it. And like I said, the only part that really requires a bit of finesse would be the backpack area. But other than that, this guy looks great. In terms of his vehicle mode, he came out looking just about perfect. They absolutely nailed that 80s four-wheel drive camper truck sort of look. I mean, that vehicle mode just screams 80s. And then the robot mode does a really good job of capturing that likeness as well. There are a few things in it that I wish was a little bit more refined, such as the way that the ankles and the feet look, and then the way that the little shoulder cannon there kind of is incorporated. One thing that I'll say is that as a pre-production sample, I am absolutely impressed by the quality on this. Badcube continues and continues to improve upon their products. The plastic quality on this feels top-notch. The tires even feel better than the rubber tires that were on Sunsurge. And then while the engineering is still fairly complex, it's not as frustratingly so, which to me is a great improvement. Overall, for the money, this is a great representation of Trailbreaker in masterpiece scale. Now, I know there are a lot of other competitors that are out there, and you really do have your choice nowadays of which version to get. But this is absolutely a version that I would have no problems recommending to people. So if SpeedBump here is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he is available at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy as well as the rest of the Badcube figures. And I also like to send a very special thanks to the folks at Badcube for helping to make this review possible. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video to please like and share it. Also be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.